Okay, dweep. So Mexican defense. So knight f6, then knight c6. This is in that Kingscrusher TV opening tango. I mentioned this Mexican defense. It has very good results statistically. The Mexican defense. This d5 pawn chain is a bit of a difference. My bishop's not hemmed in. It's not a dead bishop on like it could have been. It's out and about. Actually, I like to give it a square. a7. Maybe I didn't need bishop a7 immediately. Okay. I like to weaken f4 here. That's fine. So it's the sort of template plan with this pawn structure that I've been using aggressively. So don't need to castle, I think, here. So it's not as exposed. It's still unprotected, but it's not as exposed. So I'm still in a sort of, you know, basic plan. I like the G file. Okay. Try and open up lines with G4. I'm going to try and play Sicilian defense today, actually, because I've been looking at Bobby Fischer. So I'm going to try and play Sicilian defense, actually, with black, if you guys remind me. 1e4. All right, Joshy, thanks. Subscribe with Prime. Oh, really appreciate it. Yeah, it's quite easy to subscribe with Prime if you want to, if you're that way inclined. I think. I don't know if Joshy could explain how easy it is to subscribe with Prime. That would be appreciate. Maybe I should make a note of it. I suspect it's okay. Not that hard. Okay. So h4, hg, or it looks as though my attack's blunted, right? At the moment, it's blunted, isn't it? However, the bishop's stranded. I think if I put a rook on h8, the bishop's stranded. Oh, mind you, f7, I just realised. What about king e7 then? And here. The bishop's still stranded without winning f7. Okay. Alright, thanks, Dweep. Okay, dangerous ride. I'll try and model my repertoire on Fischer. I was going to say Fischer. But okay, we've got a very strange opening now. Which Fischer's opponents would not play against him, I believe, generally. As far as I've noticed, none of Bobby Fischer's opponents played like this, even in Blitz. Okay, so this double fianchetto. I like the idea that I've got an option for c4 and bishop h4. And if I have to, there's a target on e6. Anytime bishop, if this is happening, there's a target. In fact, round about here, now, try and weaken e6. If f6 has to be played, that's sort of modest, isn't it? Goal, but it will do. I see. There's a backfire potential, I suppose. There is a backfire potential. Mind you, if I get in rook e6, that's more effective than bishop e6 or queen e6. Rook e6 is more, I think, effective. Okay, thanks for the game, dangerous side. Okay, I'm going to try and play Fischer repertoire. I think Fischer would play g6 against this sort of thing. Okay. Bishop e3, there might be d5, d4. It's a trap to be aware of if you play like this with white. So a plan which is dangerous sometimes. Okay. So queen h4. Well, this is interesting as well. Okay. Try and break this pawn structure and block in the bishop. So knight d4 is a move, possibly. Don't like. It's not really a self pin, is it? If it's check, knight d4. Does it really do anything? No, that's the other question. All right, I think I'm gonna do this. Get the queens off. I think knight g5, h6. Okay. want to play king f7 without knight g5. I'm hoping I can get away with this. I think my opponent's played very well. I've just dropped e6. Yeah. Okay. Dropped e6. All right. It was very good until a point. Oh. And I'm still dropping my material. Okay, thanks for the game. I've had a lot of, I've looked at a lot of Bobby Fischer's Royal Pez recently, and this plan of, you know, knight going to e3 rather than g3, and the d5 square as a like a tactical usage of d5, quite often popping into d5 to liberate the Spanish bishop quite often, either on this diagonal or this diagonal in Fischer games. And it's quite often very popular as the closed Royal Pez. Yeah, I've been looking at those Bobby Fischer games recently. And, you know, it's a very interesting... I think it's to do with this bishop liberating it. Some of that stuff. Actually, it's consistent with... Fischer shows in the Sicilian. The bishop is often liberating on this diagonal. His Royal Pez treatment is sort of liberating on this diagonal because he's popping into d5 trying to liberate that Royal Pez bishop quite often. So maybe there's common ideas across how he plays against the Sicilian. This bishop's kind of plays a centre stage role, I think. Looking at a soft spot around the king, crucially. That's almost a tactical position if I can play knight e4 and something like knight g5. It's brewing up here. If I can start to use the g5 square, if I can untangle this g5 square. Okay. So knight g5. This knight seems to be misplaced now. Of g6. There's even some forcing moves which are outrageous to consider, like queen h5. Knight f6. If here there's knight f7. If g6, there's a bit of fun there to be had on queen h5. Okay, I'm just taking this. It's an interesting experience to go in detail with the latest engine technology over these Fischer games. A very, very interesting experience trying to get some of the key takeaway philosophical points. I'm doing this Fischer course. It should be I think it is great fun to do it. I think very, very instructive games quite often. Pretty mate. Alright, thanks for the game, Dan. Alright, so yeah, I'm playing e4 today. I'm trying to model the Fischer repertoire. I think that's an interesting thing to try and do. I reviewed the film Pawn Sacrifice as well recently. It's a bit of a sad film. It's not really much about the chess at all. That film Pawn Sacrifice, but it's interesting. But it shows that he needed help. And see, I'm not sure it's that inspiring for my course. That yeah, but anyway, okay. G4 is winning a piece, right? It's maybe justifiable here. G4. Have any of you seen Pawn Sacrifice? Mm. Mm. And I also saw a terrible film recently, The Coldest Game. I really hated that chess depiction. Totally hate that. Yeah, Queen's Gambit's done justice to chess. There's a lot of films which don't portray chess as a very cold game. I hate those depictions. I think Queen's Gambit was absolute best. So I'm working on the course. It's in construction. This Fischer course, it's in construction. This bishop's unusually blunted. I don't know if I can. Actually, the queen's hanging. I've just noticed. Okay, the queen's hanging. Okay, that overrides anything else. Okay. The fundamental facility, which Steen alludes to in Simple Chess, about the cylinder feds. I don't know if you guys are acutely aware of this, but you get an extra pawn in the center. You get the same up in c5. Everyone knows that, right? But you've also got this minority attack facility, and there are some Fischer games he pulls off a minority attack. So it's either structural damage, or sometimes you just get a rook on the 7th. So the reason why Black's got a minority attack, yeah, and White hasn't, is White can't really push these pawns as easily because the king's over here. Because your king's not over here, you can do this more easily without being mated. So this is highlighted by Steen in Simple Chess, and you actually see some vivid examples in Fischer games of minority attack in action. So that facility alone makes the Sicilian defense more interesting than you might think. It's not just about the extra centre pawn or the semi-open c file. That minority attack as well structurally makes it kind of positional opening. So queen b6, knight g4, queen b6, bishop e3, knight g. I don't know if that's a nuisance or is it legitimate, a tactical idea? I'm going to find out if this is a legitimate tactical idea. Oh, okay, maybe it is. Okay, so I'm trying to play this. I'm trying to model the Fischer repertoire. Knight off. But he sometimes does play e5. Doesn't sometimes he doesn't leave the pawn on e6. So I'm playing it like that now. Yeah. The other thing is these facilities like putting pressure on e4 are fun. This is a case where there might be a minority attack capability. You can imagine c3 and this as minority attack. These two against these three, as an example. Alright, that's not happening here. I think this is very different now. Okay. No minority attack has been ruled out. That's unfortunate. I need bishop f6 and play on this side. f6. f4, e4. Actually, there's always a concern of this. Maybe this is that a waste of time? It depends if it's a waste of time. I'm reinforcing e5 anyway. Maybe it's a waste of time if I'm reinforcing. Okay, this is popping in there. That's not nice. Maybe. Right, so this is a bit of a battle. I think I will move that away. Okay, so what to do? I go crazy. Try and decentralize the knight. Reverse Kara's attack. Try and decentralize the knight. Oh, there's knight d4 all the time. It's got that here. No, there isn't. Yes, there is. Okay, that's true. Can I do this? Maybe knight c5. That's comfortable. Is it? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, maybe. E4, F4, E4, F4, G4. G4 here. There's no 94. Is there? Not sure there is. Okay, it was 93. That's nice. Weakness of the last move. The other thing I noticed, when Fischer's in form, even in endgames or middle game, if there's a slightest weakness in the last move, it seems you can see very, very deeply after that window of opportunity. Very, very deeply, exploiting those weaknesses in the last move. Brilliantly. Any windows of opportunity, as you might expect. Yeah, I'm really impressed by his play. If you look at it with modern engines, the accuracy is really up there. He's just like Lasker in that respect. I don't think he really liked Lasker, but their accuracy levels are very similar, very high, similar. Lasker and Fischer, very high accuracy levels. A lot of the games, even when Fischer was just 15 onwards, 13. Okay, so maybe there's a thing here. Bishop f5. So I think you have to sort of accept there's a bit of almost like computer style when you look at a Fischer game. It's almost very clinical. Sometimes he does appear going into difficult to play positions. Sometimes that's one beef I used to have with some of his games. It looks as though like intuitively it makes it sometimes more difficult to play, sometimes the way he plays, but it's critical. Like he's critically testing the opponent, I think. Okay. I think I can. Can I? No. Just Queen H4 immediately. Right. Right, thanks for the game. Okay, got a bullet game here. So I'm trying to stick with a Fischer repertoire today. Oh, you wouldn't do that. That's a misclick. My rook's unprotected, right? Okay, that's the game. So e4 again. No, this knight c3. He did have someone play knight c3. He just played c5 against it. It made me feel maybe Fischer's got a point. He just played knight c3, c5. My tango with white. He just ignored it. But on the other hand, he does play this knight c3 against, at some point in his career, against Carlsen, which is interesting. Two knights Carlsen. Right. Am I getting in trouble here? This is interesting. Five. What's that? Oh, that looks too juicy by far to have this position. It looks far too juicy. So this knight on f5. Okay, so if the knight retreats, there's all sorts of juicy stuff. I think I'll just build up a bit more on the H file. Alright, there's not quite a rook h8. Okay, I'll take this guy out. Okay, thanks game still. Okay. Genius of love. Okay. This concerns me. I thought d4 was good. So F5, F4 coming up. Okay, so knight G6. Knight D4 coming up. Knight H4. Bishop A6. Cover that G5 square. Queen D7. Yeah. Yeah, it looks as though, okay. H5 is a concern. Okay, thanks. Okay, dangerous right. We've played earlier. George Duff. Okay. So I'm going to try King's Engine style. Fischer, King's Engine. I think he likes his E5 against Simish. I noticed. But this is not, I know this is not Simish, but I'm just saying he likes E5. Okay. And do this. I'm just wondering if bishop g4 there. I thought bishop g4. This might make it worth it. Oh, well, I think I'm just going to take... I'm tempted. I don't usually like gobbling pawns, but I'm making an exception here. So a4 might be possible. b2, rook a1. Okay. Thanks again, George Dev. So, Vlado. I think in the closed Royal Paz, structurally, you know, black's often getting a pawn's hair. So that d5, yeah, it's, for me, we're not getting a closed Royal Paz so far today, but yeah, I'm just saying Fischer's use of d5 is more of a tactical nature, and I didn't really get that when I was reading Simple Chess. I didn't really get that first time he talked about d5 as a sort of tactical weapon rather than the classic permanent outpost approach. But in the closed Royal Pairs, if the pawns are on c5 and e5, yeah, d5 is more vulnerable. But he routes his knight to e3, not g3, to make use of the tactical knight d5 so often. But it seems just from 15 years old he was playing like that with that plan. I don't know, he arrived at these plans just at 15, which is amazing. All these like key plans arrived at so quickly early on. Okay, so I do find it fascinating. But that's in the closed Royal Pairs. Here's a very different structure. So can I just go for e5, b3 and e5? I'm not sure about. I like the double pawns here. Or should I welcome them? Maybe I can welcome the G file. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm going to find out. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know if that closed Royal Pairs variation was totally, oh, this is dangerous, in vogue. It seems loads of opponents were playing closed Royal Pairs with, you know, knight a5, c5 loads. It's like majorly popular at the time. And it's popular now as well. Okay, so f4. For some reason, I had a bias towards the knight going to g3 to f5, when in fact, you know, that d5 square in the royal pairs is also, it's really kind of interesting. Oh, there's bishop g5. I'm getting outplayed here. There's bishop g5. I'm getting crushed on f4. Oh, Gordon Bennett. I think my opponent could have crushed me with bishop g5 just then. Yeah, I think bishop g5 was close to winning. It looked very, very winning to me if the knight's coming to f4. Okay. It's good I did support e4, isn't it? Right, so knight b6 is threatened. f5, maybe it's not entirely pointless because I've always got f4 after. I don't know, knight g4. Okay, so knight. There's no knight f4 here, is there? I wonder if I can kick some of the stuff back. Oh, knight d5. Yeah. Weakness of the last move. Okay. Again, 94. Yeah, no, I'm falling in bits. Falling to bits here. A little bit. Moot. I think bishop d3, someone said on Reddit recently that the latest Stockfish comes up with bishop d3, which is the Kopeck system. But usually I think the bishop like tucks away in d4, that's the plan. Unless I can justify knight e3 here. Yeah, it's quite hilarious, the Kopeck system coming up as a recommendation. So Danny Kopeck was a computer science professor, one of the first IMs I ever beat in over the board chess. But he had that Kopeck system with bishop d3. There's videos on YouTube. He talks about it actually as well. Free samples. It was, of course, his on the Kopeck system. But apparently, yeah, someone on Reddit showed that it's like one of the more favoured moves. Bishop d3 rather than open Sicilian. Can I get a view on a soft spot? I like to have a view on the soft spot here. This, I mean, would strengthen the centre. This bishop takes c6. There's no hint of a Greek gift because I don't think that knight's like holding. Oh, take here though. Knight's holding g4. I could push the knight away and then maybe Greek gift this position. Bishop h2. Sort of tempting Greek gift. Oh, there might be a bishop f4 at the end of it. There's a GM that did a very nice checklist I saw on Reddit as well recently. Daniel Nazaritsky. I've played him once on ICC when he was up and coming. He's a GM now, but I played him once. I think I did beat him in this Nimza Indian. But yeah, he's got this 4-point checklist about the Greek gift working. I think one of them was if there's bishop f4 after protecting h2. So I thought that was cool. The use of checklists generally, it was a very good safety thing for all these planes that were. They spent millions on or whatever on these planes, and it was just stupid cock-ups all the time. And the whole checklist manifesto, I think, was motivated by these not to waste really, really expensive equipment. And there's books on it, but in chess terms, I think that's interesting, applying that to chess for things working or not. The checklist concept is very interesting. Okay. Okay, it looks as though rook b2 is interesting here, coming up. Okay, face the game, and okay, so e4 coming up. It's trying to stick to the royal pairs territory. So c3 and d4 coming up, and this early d6 is disruptive, I think. A little bit disruptive. I don't like this being played against me. I think statistically I've lost quite a few games when d6 is being played. It's a bit of a dislocating move. Cuts off a bit of communication. Maybe I can. Okay, I'm daring to keep my king in the center a little bit longer. Yeah. There might be a queen g6. That's another little perk of queen being on d6 here. If I can castle and soon, can I don't want to take d, so I want to castle in principle. Okay. Put everything towards the center. You got the central 4 squares, but there's also, I think it's useful to think about the extended central squares. These two, then add these two and these two. If your pieces are on those squares, the extended center is interesting, I think, to think about. I wonder if bishop g5 is. I'm going to go for bishop g5. I think there's a rook left, if nothing else. And this is bishop e5. Oh, it's queen h6. Is it queen b8? Maybe it's queen b8. Queen d7. Oh, I've taken a big risk here with this piece sack. Maybe I've taken a big risk. It's f4 though. If oh, hang on, there's knight takes. What am I doing? All right. Yeah. Oh, maybe is f5 any good? Actually, I've just dropped this, haven't I? I've just dropped g5. Oh, muppets. And that threatens mate as well. No, it doesn't threaten mate. But yeah, okay. I've blundered. Getting carried away. It's a swindle this now. My opponent's taking too long. The swindle looks likely here. Okay, I sacrificed too much, as well as blundering a piece. Ah, okay. That's interesting. Okay. Coffee. I think get off that. Coffee. No, really? Oh dear. This is a bit of a handicap game now, isn't it? What is happening? Alright, so I'm just gonna do normal stuff, not go crazy. Hopefully, just normal stuff. Lay a foundation of, okay, whatever. Let's hit this, this bishop. E5 looks tempting. So I suppose Queen A5 could be venomous. Have some something to it. Okay, Queen here. I mean, this gives rook d6. It's useful to pin. Pin and win. Oh, just giving up the bishop. Like a moron. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Special serial. I think I'll play G6 here, yeah. Plans. Okay, I'll wait for a moment. Bishop d7. There's another plan here. Go on this outpost square on the semi-open file. That's one plan. I'm not sure about these more tactical ideas. I think it's nice to use a structural plan sometimes. Just based on that semi-open file, just try and get this light square bishop. Get this guy without the counterpart. The plan after that would be to try and weaken the light squares. So try and get this without a counterpart, then weaken the light squares after. So hopefully the advantage is on the light squares now. This guy's special. Okay, but there is dynamic stuff pushing down on my position. How do I put the brakes on E5? Queen C7, there's bishop F6 and 95. The queen doesn't belong here. Okay, knight G4 still runs into E5. Okay, queen B6 doesn't work. Again, queen B8. I think queen B8 is a move at the moment. Although that's not convincing either. There is bishop F6 still. Maybe nothing was convincing. 95 after. Okay, bishop E6 gives me an opportunity for bishop D5. So yeah, bishop F6, 95 there is unfortunate. But now, okay, I'm going to give the bishop up. Oh, that's not really great. Minority attack. Except I'll lose E7. There'll be pressure on E7. Okay. So, alright, what happens here? Let's go back here, actually hit this guy. Bishop F6, 95. So the dreaded Moxie bind has been set up. I can take that there, surely. Okay. A6. B5 looks like a move. More pressure on C4, looks like a target. I can sort of afford to weaken light squares at least a bit more than usual, I would hope, with the light square bishop. Alright, face the game. Can we try and make it 3 minute, guys? 3 minute chess, please. And I played Snell earlier. I played Lewis. 3 minute without an increment. Gogip. So I think I was going to play winner against the French. Okay. So yeah, the 4 central squares, the extended squares, This extended center is interesting, I think, to consider. But yeah, I've got to try and hold on to D5. So I think I'll just build up on the central squares at the moment. Maybe B3. There's a tactical issue, rook D4 if the knight's not there. Maybe C3 is a safety. If I want to move the knight without rook D4. C3. Or, in fact, can I play bishop D3 and C4? That looks tempting. So I don't have to keep protecting the D5 with my pieces. I can just have the pawns. What's this? I want to ignore. I don't want to give my opponent counterplay. He can keep his exchange sack. I just want to blunt the bishop. I don't want to like exchange sack for a pawn and this bishop being alive on this diagonal. Forget it. Too much. Try and use the pawns to lock in the opponent's pieces. As tempting as it is winning an exchange. I think I'm still winning the exchange anyway, just under better circumstances actually. I'll keep this guy. Right, here we go. There's an idea of pinning for bishop d6. So I'll go with g4, I think. Even if my opponent is winning c4, this is a good plan overall, I think. G4. Pin and win plan. Pin and win plan. So I think it takes a while to win c4. Okay, fair enough. Oh, okay, there's this way. Hold on. This way. Try and get a pin. Let's have the concrete threat of bishop d6. I can just take that as well. It's only g6, there's a mate there. G6 pawn. Pass pawn. Alright, thanks Gogip. Hamilton 21. So today Fischer repertoire, Bobby Fischer repertoire. Try and play that Najdorf. That was his favourite to sit in. And probably influenced Kasparov as well. Okay, but he did think Hetto sometimes, depending on what the opponent did. I think it influenced Kasparov two ways, actually, not just... There was the King's Engine influence and the Najdorf influence on Kasparov. I think Kasparov said as much at some point. Actually, I should make note of that somewhere. Okay, Kasparov influence. Okay, mental note made. So, Rook c8, knight d4, e5. Okay, e5 and knight d4 looks as though... Well, this looks like an aggressive dark square campaign. My rook's x-raying queen. Right, I'm gonna have double pawns here, I think. There's always knight c2 if white was winning this pawn. There's knight c2, or this queen is aggressive, g5 is aggressive. This would be an aggressive e5 square. This is an aggressive g file. This is disconnected. I can't really get this rook in. Okay. Alright, that's the really interesting move. I've got f5 here. bishop f2, there's queen f4, right? And then queen f1 if the bishop moved after. Okay. Looks as though I hope I can play this. No major forcing moves. Okay, so queen g4 looks tempting for knight f3. Okay, so he takes. Okay, maybe d3 for bishop d4. Do I need to work out anything after that? It looks as though there's a rook on the 7th. Very tempting. Rook on the 7th. Knight e6 and queen f8. That's queen e4 though. Anytime that knight moves. Queen d3 is also a concern. Let's play queen f5. I'm not mind about exchange of queens. That blocks that queen. There's rook g2 and queen 1. Right, thanks for the game, Hampton. There is an outrageous gambit, but I'm going to play the normal way, which is popular at the moment. This for castling queenside. It adds interest to the position, I think, for me at least. Opposite side castling when that happens. So h4, knight g5. Sometimes they castle queenside in this line, the grandmasters, I think. h4, knight g5. Fair enough. This g-file could be welcomed, or could it? Is it solid enough to withstand? Is it just structural damage for me? Maybe bishop takes is better. Okay. A3 B3. Knight c4 is coming up. There's no knight e6 because this is a check. Okay, getting this bishop without the counterpart, it interests me to do this. This bishop without the counterpart. There's always d5 unless there's a tactic there. Wouldn't have thought. I think d5 is solid enough. If the knight moves bishop c4, d5 is solid enough. What about bishop f3 again? I can undermine it with c4. That's just a spare, like double pawn. That's solid enough. f4. So can I try this? with idea of c4. There's d4, bishop f2. I have softened e4, d5, the diagonal. I'll play c4 now. Maybe a3 if rook b6. This, I think, it could do with g3 before I build on e6. Rook b6, a3. Alright, a3 for c3, that gives rise to like this hole here. Can I not just take on d6, as long as it's maybe a bishop c1 if needed? Take on d6. That weakness of the last move, neglecting d6. Alright, so I'm threatening with mate. Bishop c1. Oh, hold on. Let's chat first. There's bishop b2 here, isn't there, for a3. I've just screwed up, haven't I? Whoops. Okay, there's king c1, queen b2, king d2. Okay, take a walk here. It's not ideal. Maybe there's bishop d5 needed on rook d8. I can take the queen. It's a bit of relief, but there is knight d4. Okay. Okay, that got crazy. Thanks. Oh, hang on. This is a bit of a weird nickname. Let's move on. Okay. D6, bishop a7. F5, knight h7 to f6. Alright, so bishop f5, knight h7, maybe knight h7. Castle. So knight g5 coming up. Queen g3. Hi, Poker Pro, thanks. Yeah. Okay, So this looks like it's crashing through. Okay, so queen h4 looks like it's crashing through. Okay, right. Okay. Pro baklava. Okay, can I play d5 here? I'm going to draw that bishop back, I think. Maybe it's d6. Okay. I'll just get the queens off. Is that a move? Am I being boring here? Getting the queens off. I do feel black's got a good possession at the moment. I'll accept. That's given me a square. Bishop c5. Which was check. Check all checks. Alright, can I... What's the best way of doing this? Maybe bishop c4 for knight b5. Block out that b file. So a5 is the target. I think I'll try and stop the use of a4. Can I go like this? Okay, try and keep hold of d5. Alright, that is an undermining move. Oh, okay. I wasn't that worried about that. Should I be? I mean, the king's better on here because there's like checks. Okay, king's better. Avoiding this knight f4 business. If there's knight d5, rook a3, there's no knight f4 there. Okay. Right. Alright, this could be trouble. This could be trouble, this game. I don't know. Getting short on time. What is the plan? What is the plan for me? Oh. Okay. Get my king over. Okay, I'm giving a pawn back. No, I'm not sure this is any good. Okay. b4. This is getting very, very unfortunate, this whole game. Yes, it's getting very unfortunate. It has got unfortunate. I've been outplayed. I don't know why he gave me a piece back there. That was unnecessary to give a piece back. Oh, Okay. Bit of generosity there. No take back, thank you. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry, guys. I was out getting crushed there from. I don't know. I felt very uneasy in that game. Bullet expert. I don't think we played today. Yeah, I had my extra pawn, but it looks as though I was a sitting duck there with the extra pawn. King came in very expertly. Very nice game. Until the horrific blunders at the end. Saved by the blunders. Oh, this looks as though I could be in for something horrible. Actually, okay. Yeah. I'd like to reinforce my king if possible before getting mated. If it's actually possible to reinforce my king here. Oh, actually, okay. That's interesting. I don't really want to take that. Actually, I'd rather reinforce the king. D4 could be a pain. Can I get away with... Oh, there's D3 coming up. Maybe I need this tempo, otherwise D3 is annoying. I need the tempo again. Knight C5, try and get control of E4 before it's too late. Knight C5. It's a square. A5. It's an unusual one. But it does seem to be a compromised square. Okay. That's a good point. Well put. Okay, I'm on E5. Can I get the queens off to avoid getting mated? Try and win on time. Cheeky idea. Or not. Big trouble. Okay, can I do this? That's unfortunate, isn't it? Oh, this isn't going swimmingly well. Oh, this ruined my last game. Oh, I was going to make that last game. I think I'm going to go now anyway. Well played. Ruined my last game. I have that tradition of having a terrible last game. So that continues. Right, well played. Okay, I'm going to pass the stream on now. Thanks for coming. If you want to check out my courses, they're over there, Kingscrusher TV / chess openings, tactics. They're my favourites. Also, Kingscrusher TV / chess courses. Okay.